Hi, I'm with etrailer, and today we're talking about Titan chain tire chains with assisted tensioning on our 2023 Nissan Rogue. We're going to have this on our front axle as what the manual recommends, and our tire size today is going to be 235, 60, R18. Now this is going to fit a wide range of tire sizes. That's just the one we have today. If you're not sure if this is going to fit your vehicle, you can plug in your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find what's going to be the correct fit for you. So let's check it out. These are going to be a great set of chains if you're looking for something that's going to be easy to get on your tires and it's going to get you through those moderate snow and ice conditions. And what's going to give it that ability is going to be the design of our links. These are going to be square links, so they're going to have these hard edges to them, and that hard edge is what's going to give you that extra bite for ice and snow. We're also going to have this diamond pattern to our chains, and what that's giving us is more coverage on the tire itself. So this is going to be better for just overall driving and making those turns. They're going to be constructed from a nickel alloy steel, so what all that means is they're going to be very durable chains and they're going to be very weather resistant, so they're going to last you a long time. And they're going to be pretty low profile to our tire. They're only going to stick up a little bit, so they're going to be actually S-class chains. So that's great, especially for the Rogue, because we don't have a lot of clearance back here, and especially behind the tire. And what's really going to separate this from your standard tire chains is going to be the assisted tensioner. The way this works is we're going to have these chains that wrap around. They have a lot of points that they're connecting to. Each point is going to be applying tension, making this a good fit. And where the assisted tensioning comes from is going to be the rubber part of the hook itself. So when you are driving down the road, because what's probably going to happen are your chains are going to shift and they're going to loosen up. And what this rubber tensioner is going to do is, as it loosens up, it's going to still apply tension to these chains so it doesn't loosen up too much and make contact with your suspension. They're going to come two in a set, and they're going to come in this pretty nice bag. This is a pretty soft material, but it still feels pretty durable. And what I like about it most of all is how flat it sits. So it'll be pretty easy to store in your car. And if I open it up, you can see how they're stored. And what I like about this design is each one has its own pocket. So you don't have to worry about these getting tangled together and just being a real hassle to try to disconnect from one another. But in my opinion, I think this is a great option for you if you are trying to get through those moderate snow and ice conditions. And honestly, I think this is a great style of chain for this vehicle because we don't have a whole lot of space underneath the car to work with. So making all our connections on the front side is going to be a much better option. Now, if you're wanting to kind of upgrade to something that's going to work a little bit better than this, the Koenig self-tensioning tire chains is also great. And what's nice about that is instead of having an assisted tensioner on it, it's going to have a self-tensioner. And the self-tensioner is going to give you more peace of mind of when you are driving down the road because it's going to have a little bit more forgiveness rather than this style because you're definitely going to have to check on this a few times as you're driving still. But I think if you're just watching your chains, making sure everything looks good as you drive, you should just be fine. Now, as far as the installation goes, I'm a big fan of it. If you are curious to see what it looks like, just stay tuned and we'll walk you through the process. To start off the installation, I'm going to grab some gloves and I'm going to lay out my chains. And if you are doing this for the first time, I recommend staying home and trying this out because you don't want to have to try to figure this out on the side of the road in the middle of a blizzard. But what we're looking for are any damages to our links and to make sure nothing's twisted up. I also like to check everything's in the right orientation. So first I like to check these hooks. Make sure this flat part is facing up, so it's away from our tire. And then we want to make sure this gray cord is closest to the tire itself. And finally, I like to make sure this center area isn't connected yet. If all that looks good, I'm going to push everything to their relative sides and then push this behind our tire and then across. And then kind of lay everything out, make sure everything is pretty flat. You can grab onto anything that you need. And when this looks even, then we're going to make our connection on the back. So we're going to grab that gray cord on the back, lift up. And what this connection looks like is this middle channel with this middle block that just slides into each other till it locks into place. I'm going to maintain control of the chains, let this back area fall behind our tire, and then make our connection on the front side. And what that's going to look like is we're going to be taking this green hook with these yellow links and running them into one another. And this can be a little tricky sometimes, but after when you get it, it should look like that. But right now it's hanging a little bit low for my liking, so I'm actually going to adjust this so it's sitting even on both sides and we're not making contact with that rim. I'm going to come to the bottom, grab these gray links and run them through this red channel, just like that. And then I'm going to pull on it, applying pressure. This is going to make sure everything feels pretty tight. And I'm going to run the hooked end through these eyelets. And after each time I pass through one, I'm going to apply pressure to it. Once I've made it through all of them, then I'm going to make this connection at the furthest point that I can. And this seems like it's going to be pretty tight, so I'm probably not going to be able to make it very far. So I'm just going to reach up to this point right here. And that feels pretty good. And then I'm just going to pull on everything, make sure it feels pretty tight. And once you like how that fits, then we'll just repeat that process on the other side. And what I recommend doing after that is pulling forward or backing up some to make sure nothing's shifting too much and everything's feeling pretty good. And if it is, then you can take it out for a ride. But that was just our look at the Titan tire chains with assisted tensioning on them on our 2023 Nissan Rogue. Thanks for watching.